Hi, Jeff Hicks with Real Wired. Welcome to another Indispensable Appraisers podcast. Today we're talking about optimum state. I think this is a really cool concept. I learned this from Jesse Enkamp. He is known as the karate nerd. If you want to check out the video, it's called Death of Sparring. Jesse Enkamp is known as a karate nerd because he takes a deep dive in martial arts history, specifically Okinawan karate. He's a 30-some-year-old Swedish Finland guy that grew up in Okinawa. His mother is also a master martial artist. And the concept is the smarter MMA fighters realize that sparring just results in injury. It's because the other opponent, at some point, people just want to win, they get competitive, and you get injured and nobody wins. So the concept of optimum state, let's picture a chart on one axis. On this axis, you've got levels performance, and on the bottom is your state. So when it comes to sparring, he's talking about flight or fight, and as it relates to how you learn. So at the very center of this chart, so again, performance, state, picture a big curve, like a bell curve, and in the middle is performance, optimum state at the top of that vertical. So when it comes to sparring, on the left of that, it would be tired, not motivated, not focused, optimum state. But when you go beyond that state, you have the cortisol because of you're getting stressed, you have fear because you're getting kicked and punched, and all your training, a lot of it, not all of it, but a lot of it goes out the window because you just want to survive and you can't try new techniques. So being in that, beyond that state, that's overstimulated state, fear and stress are terrible motivators. They kill your ability to learn new things. So taking this concept of performance, your state, this diminishing return, and right at the center is where you want to be on optimum state. How does that relate to our industry? So for chief appraisers, their state in the middle might be anchored by service level agreements, that their SLAs, the time it takes to go through the entire appraisal ordering process, from the lender requests an appraisal, go out to bid, comes back, send it back to the lender picks an appraisal, appraisers engage, appraisal comes back, gets reviewed, all that entire process. Being able to first know what each of those processes are, the ability to have vendor management, to have qualified, licensed appraisers with E&O and all the usual suspects, that is optimum. On the left side of that might be chief appraisers that don't have any appraisal management platform. I read a survey interesting that 30% of banks from 10 billion to 100 billion use Outlook and an Excel spreadsheet to manage your appraisal workflow. I find that just amazing. And on the other side, overstressed for our chief appraisers would be FDIC audits, OCC audits, which a lot of fee appraisers don't realize that chief appraisers do a lot more than just order appraisals, but that's a different topic altogether. Other stresses might be ROVs. It could be, there's lots of things. But at the center of the chief appraisers would be having an appraisal management platform like UConnect that really allows you to crush your SLAs, the ability to provide reporting to the C-suite, the ability to control vendor management where you're getting the very best appraisers for the assignments, right? Because it's about collateral protection. So with the optimum state, how does it relate to, let's move on to your personal health. An optimum state would be you're healthy, you're on little to no medications, and you feel good. To the left of that would be you feel tired, you feel lethargic, you aren't motivated to work out. To the right of that would be lots of stress, unhealthy, feeling poorly, frequent doctor visits, creates a lot of stress. So a great example of this is a book called Younger Next Year. This book was written by two doctors, and their concept was basically boiled down to that you can live a healthy life for much longer and not get to the age of 50, and then your health declines like in a chart, stair steps down, right? So at age 50, if you don't take care of yourself through exercise, the entire book is focused on exercise over and over. It's 250 pages of exercise and what it does for you. So the concept is, instead of your health declining from age 50 to 85 or whatever the number is to go from age 50 and go all the way down to 90, and then we go away, right? So more of a direct line. Yes, it's going to decline. You're not going to be 20 years old, but the concept about optimum state means you do need to exercise. You do need at least 80-20, 80% decent food, 20% fun stuff. That is optimum performance. But what about this concept of performance and state applies to everything? So let's say personal relationships. What is the optimum state of that? Obviously, happy spouse, but it might have more to do with, on the left of that, you're giving low energy to your family, low energy to your spouse, not really interested in your friends. The other side would be stresses, but really back at the center would be, what is the optimum state for personal relationships, that you are doing that life-work balance, that you're not working too much, getting stressed, not taking vacations, the cortisol, which kind of leads back to the health issue, right? So let's talk about lenders. What is the optimum state of a lender? Well, we've come out with a new simplified integration product called Glances. It's amazing patented technology that allows a single view across multiple platforms, and that is unique. You're not going to typically find that available. That's why we're very excited about this. So as a lender, if let's say you're working in your loan origination system, like Salesforce, Embrigo, Encino, and you have an integration to Uconnect, that's great. You can order appraisals, check on the status of appraisals, upload documents to order. You can download the appraisal and the invoice. You can communicate with the job manager through chatting. That is optimum performance. A lack of optimum performance would be, to the left of that, would be you're not connected to other platforms like the core. So Glances can also connect to the core like FIS, FIServe, Jack Henry. It can also connect to Outlook. So if I'm a loan officer or relationship manager, RM, I can type in the borrower's name and it can hit the core, the LOS, Uconnect, Outlook, and whatever other platforms you think are valuable to know in an instant, the credit risk of the borrower. You know that there's a couple of appraisals in progress. You know they have lines of credit. You know they have business loans. You have the totality of the relationship in a single view. This is also very powerful for banks that merge and acquire other banks, and those banks have legacy systems that don't talk to the bank, that you bought. So the ability to look into the legacy platforms through Glances, that is amazing. So what is also another segment that relates to optimum state is the valuation industry in general. What is the optimum state? And are we there now? What does that even mean? Well, I think we tend to be, to the right of that might be the stress on the industry, which would be appraisal bias, which I think we're starting to maybe get a handle on that with Cindy Chance, of the new CEO of the Appraisal Institute. That's great, what we're seeing from her. But also, I think there's some real concerns that's going to take some legwork to get back to optimum state, which is the shortage of appraisers. Everybody knows it, not a big secret, but are we actually doing things about it? I do think there's some pluses in the market relative to this. Optimum state is like Dr. Randy Flowers of RSDS. That's, I won't say single-handedly, but has a method to train new residential appraisers, which I think is amazing. And it's interesting, he's outside of our field, being an education person. I think he's having some great success. Another thing that's right of the vertical of optimum state is some appraisers have, not that they've given up, but I think there's lack of a mojo, burned out maybe. So, which kind of takes you all the way to the left of the optimum state, which is apathy, tired, I'll worry about the next generation. That is not optimum state. So again, we want to be in the center because it diminishes on either side. That's why it's a long arch at the very top. Because remember, where we started with sparring, fear and stress are terrible motivators. It diminishes our ability to try new things, which we know when it comes to technology and process, especially in our evaluation space, where a lot of appraisers tend to be technicians and not entrepreneurs. I think that needs to change, especially for attracting the next generation. They expect to have tools. They expect that culture. They expect a lot of things that we're not currently doing. So we need to take, I think, a self-awareness of where are we on the curve. So as a chief appraiser, where are you as an RM in your personal relationships, in your health, in the valuation industry in general? Where are we? Because the goal is we want to be optimum, because either side of that vertical line, no bueno, just not a good place to be. Well, that's it for the pod. Hope you've enjoyed it. Really enjoy bringing different concepts to the valuation space, because again, it's called Indispensable Appraisers. That's why I created it. That's why I gave it that name, because I do think appraisers really are super important to the real estate space and the CRE space especially. It's $15, $16, $17 trillion asset in the US, and appraisers provide a integral safety net, stability, because volatility is not good for anybody. So appraisers need to realize the value that they bring to the market, celebrate it, celebrate the wins, and stay in that optimum state. That's it for the pod. Thanks, guys. Bye.